3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot to start. I have an app that I use that processes the audio, and I forgot to start it. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Craps with John from Pro Craps. Here we are. Interesting day, I think, up for us today. So let's look at what's going to be on tap for today right out of the gate, because I got a lot of explaining to do, as they say. First of all, we're going to make a decision on the mind today. We've been playing it for 3 days, and I got a lot of thoughts on it. So when I get to the screen, we'll talk about the mind and what we're going to do from today moving forward with it. And we're going to talk a little bit about comps today, just a little bit. I don't want to go too deep in this because it's kind of a complex subject, and there's no real answer to how comps work. But I wanted to give you a little bit of groundwork today, because when we go to Vegas for DiceCon, for Craps for the Cure, we're going to be talking to a couple of people who know a lot about it. Cross your fingers, I've got a casino exec in a box or a floor person that's going to come join us live, and we can ask direct questions. How do they calculate it? What are they looking for? How do they notice what your levels are? All those things that we really don't understand. I'll have one of them with us to talk through what they're seeing, doing, and how it all really works. But I'm going to give you today some of the groundwork behind it, so that you, when we have that conversation, it'll make more sense based on what we're going to have today. So today, picture it like 101 level. We'll get to 201, 301 level when we go into at Craps for the Cure. So that's kind of what's happening with us today. Around the world today, Mac is going to be back out with his tournament at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Big AZ's Yahtzee Challenge at 10 o'clock. And then, of course, Big AZ goes live at 10:30. Yesterday, I was remiss in not talking about, what do you call it? Live Fantasy Craps. I forgot all about it yesterday. I didn't get my notification. It wasn't on the schedule, and I just know that it's on Wednesdays. I just forgot about it. So I'm sorry, the folks who run that, not getting the word out. That's on me. Feel bad about that, but that's it happens sometimes. So anyway, tonight, Mac, Big AZ twice is your choice, or is your schedule for tonight. And Rich, I'm going to get to that right now. We're going to go to the mind right now and talk about what I've done with Daily Paychecks. So here we go. No new updates on Craps for the Cure. Other than the logo's finished it last night. I'm going to get the final artwork this morning, putting in the order for the challenge coin chips and the t-shirts like tonight. So we'll have everything in place for us there at the event. It cost more than I thought it was going to cost to get it all done. I mean, these things aren't cheap, the shirts and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I can get them done in time to get them out there, and I'll have them shipped to Casino Quest soon. But I had a nice long talk yesterday too with Brian from Holy Roller about the event, and he's going to make an announcement about his donation, which, like last year, it's going to be a cruise. It's going to be interesting how we work it out. And we got to talking about the auction items. So I've got some more calls to make today, but the auction items themselves, we're going to run the auctions a little bit differently than we did last year. I think you're going to like it. We're going to be more raffle style than auction style, which lets us do a better job of predicting the intake for the charity, but it also allows you to bid on multiple things without killing yourself. Like last year, we had a couple of folks that bid, $300-400 on a couple of the items, didn't get the items, and couldn't make a donation because of that, right? So we're going to let you spread the money out this year a little better if you want to do that. So I think the auction turned raffle idea is going to be a thing. We'll talk more about it in the coming days here, but that's the plan for Craps for the Cure. I did get notification that a couple of guys can't make it. Shackleford, for one, can't make it. He's got a trip planned. A lot of people from Vegas are like scattering because of the freaking race. So this is going to be a tough weekend for us. But what I'm going to do is film a couple of interviews beforehand. And then while we're at the event, we can cut away from the table, play a live interview, or play a recorded interview, cut back to the table. It'll still feel good. They just won't be there in person. So guys like Rick from Let It Roll and from Shaq and from Gargoyle, and guys who maybe can't make it out but want to be part of it, we'll get them on camera, and we'll have them kind of filtered in throughout the thing. So that's what's going to happen there. Again, if you're coming, let me know. Say it in chat, I'm coming, so I know. I like to see who's coming there. I know that some of you live there, and may just show up there, right? Which is great. And I know I'm not going to call names out, but if you're going to do that, let me know that also. All right. All right, let's move ahead. Here we go. The recap of the daily paycheck, the mind. Here's the 3 notes we got so far. We played it 3 days in a row. Bankroll is totally wrong for this thing. First day, I tried $2,000, $25 minimums, and or $25 base bets, which meant $100 out there. And my thinking was, okay, if we get to level 5, that's going to be, $500 out of the rack. We have $2,000 in the bank. We can do 4 times and we'll be okay. Turns out we were never okay that first day. And we had to put guardrails in place. Stop at level 5, go to level 1. Don't replace the bets after a level 7 loss. And it made it a grind. We never got out of it. So that we changed that. Let's try $10 bets. And so we went down to $10 bets yesterday. And even with $10 bets, I added the 4 and 10 just for some fun. But even at $10 bets, going back out at the loss level, you get to level 5, go back out at what it was, 304 or 280, whatever it was we went out there for, right? Bam, bam, bam. Our bankroll just got destroyed by that, because when you go back out after that 7 loss at that highest possible level, and then you got to build 3 more bets on top of that thing, we did it twice, and we got so high up there, it was too much out of the rack. I don't think $2,000's enough to play the mind, even at $10. And I'm playing it wrong. I'm playing it not the right way. I know this. We made some adjustments to it to be respectful of that bankroll, and it's just not enough. So I'm going to call an audible. We can't do the mind until we get to $5,000, and even then, only at $25 base bets. If you watched Ken Knows Gambling last night, he did the mind by the book last night, like literally by the book, and he ended up making his paycheck. He made like a $300 paycheck early, and he lost almost the whole $5,000. He was down to his last, like, 1 more 7 and we're out, kind of a thing. But then he fought back. He had a nice little run and it fought itself back. He did the 4, 6, 8, and 10. So the 4s and 10s really accelerated some of the growth back. But yeah, even with $5,000, he was almost out of money. If $25 chips at 2,000, we would have lost it all for sure. So I think we can't do it. I think the mind, we gave it a shot. There's no way to do it with this bankroll. And even if it worked, the $10 base bets are winning you $15 at a time in the early stages there. To get to $200, $250 win, it takes so many wins to get there. It's just not non-tenable. So we're gonna move on. I'm gonna move on to something different from the mind, and that means looking at one of 2 options, which is either going permanent press, which only is going to be $110 out of the rack, or taking a bigger swing at it and going red cross, which will be about $240 out of the rack, which sounds like a lot. Actually, I think it's $220 out of the rack, which sounds like a lot, but we were doing $220 last week, right? We were doing $220 with when we were playing the 3-point Molly. So we can do it. We have the funds to put $220 out there for every shooter. Red cross or permanent press, I'm not sure about. So we're going to play them both today. I'll do some here downstairs. We'll do some upstairs. Another couple days of sort of kicking the ball around, and we'll make a new decision next week. So we're going to call an audible. The mind can't work at our level. That's the answer to that question. So I will switch off of it. We'll do something different. Sorry for the jumping around with it this week. I tried really hard to make that thing fit the bankroll, but there's no way to do it with what I've got. And I think with the goal that we've got, it's just too much. I'm asking too much of the strategy, I think, to make it work. So I love the strategy. I love the idea behind it, but it's not going to work for this one. So there that is. It could work well, by the way, on bubble craps. $500 with dollar bets. Easy, right? That's an amount we can live with and we can make money with that. That's, I think, a better spread of base bet to buy in, but to replicate that with $10 chips, you need way too much money. So yeah, that's like $10 with $5,000 bank, and anyway, there's my spiel in the mind. Let's go. Before we go to the table, I want to talk to you about comps. Okay, so we're all going to Vegas for Craps for the Cure, and playing as a group. We're going to get, hopefully a lot of comps, right? I'm working as a casino host now, so I'm working hard to get everybody good rates. Good rates are based on your comps, which are based on your play. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how they work from the host side of things, but more importantly, from your side of things, so you understand what your card's doing when you give them your card, right? And it works differently on the tables than it does on the machines, way differently. So in the old days, right, it used to be like the guy behind the table, the boss, the floor person had power, right? Hey, can you throw me some dinner? Like, you've been there for 4 hours. Like last time in Vegas, or actually in Seattle, we were at a table for like 6 hours. Actually, Ian and I were at a table. We got there like 10 in the morning. We were there until 4 in the afternoon, straight through, right? That kind of play, somebody from behind waving you down going, you need some lunch? Can I get you anything? Right? Can I get you anything? Was the old days, right? It's getting late. You need a room. You staying overnight. You know what I mean? That's how it used to work, you know? You'd call your host. And back in those days, we had a casino host who worked at the casino, and they still do. There's hosts that work at the casino. Can you hook me up? You know, I got friends coming into town. Can you get us a couple of rooms and a dinner next weekend? And they know you are playing all the damn time. You're here. Yeah, sure, no, got you, no problem. And they write it down on the thing, hand you a piece of paper. I remember having comps as pieces of paper when I was younger. Not me, my father would do that. Today, it's different. Today, it's all computerized. It's all based on points. There's no feel to it. Table games have a little bit of feel to it, but not much. It's really regulated now. And I say regulated not by the states, regulated by the house, how they do it. It's all done on your card. Every casino now has a card. And it's really just bean counters. It is the bean counters have made it happen, right? And that's the thing. So that's what's going. That's the way it works now. It's just based on it's an algorithm that a computer has, right? So how does the algorithm work? And that's what I want to jump into here. The comp calculation is based on what you're expected to lose to the casino. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. It always was. But they used to do it in their head, and they would say, yeah, this guy's he's here every Friday and Saturday. He's playing X. We know he's good for it, right? That's what we can expect from him. We can expect John to come every Friday and every Saturday, buy in for $100 like I used to do, and lose 20. They know every week that's what's going to happen. Every week I'm going to lose 20 on Friday, 20 on Saturday, because I did it for years, right, when I was younger. For them to give me a piece of paper that said, go get yourself an ice cream sundae or go buy yourself a cheesesteak was no big deal for them. Once a month, I would get a free cheesesteak, right? That was my, thanks for losing thing. Today, it works like this, okay? It's your average bet. And here's the calculations. Your average bet times the house edge. So if you got a $25 bet or a $20 bet and the house edge is 1.41%, you do the math. What is that? It's $1.50 or whatever. It's like 40 cents or whatever that is, right? That's your expected loss. Your expected loss per bet. Then they look at the number of rolls and decisions made per hour and the number of hours of play. For some games, it's easy. Blackjack is simple. You got a $25 is your average bet, and they're looking at your average bet. Your average blackjack bet, you might start at 10. You do like a little up and pull, right? Go to 10, go to 15, go to 20, and you're hovering between 20 and $25 most of the day. Your average bet's about $20. Okay. They know that. They know that from that $20, you're expected to lose about 2%. Okay. So 40 cents, whatever that is. And they know that you're playing for 4 hours a night. So 40 cents over 4 hours, 40 cents per bet. Blackjack, you're probably getting 60 to 80 hands an hour. So 40 cents times 80 hands, that's how much you expect to lose an hour. So whatever 40.4 times 80 is, I don't even know what that is. That's $40 or whatever, $35, something like that. That times your 4 hours that you're there. So $120. Your expected loss is $120. If you're playing $25 minimums, and again, I'm not actual numbers here. I'm just kind of doing head math. That's how it's calculated. Your average bet times the number of times that bet is exposed per hour times the number of hours that you play. All right. All that times the house edge. We had the house edge talk yesterday. So you know that the house edge is computed. It's your expected loss for your bets. They call that two things. The ADT is what you'll hear now, the average daily theoretical. That's your theoretical loss to the casino. Your average bet times the house edge times how many times it's going to lose in an hour times how many hours you play. That's the calculation. It's very easy when you know the calculation to figure out what it's going to look like for you on your average bets. And your comp then is some fractional return based on that. Usually it's 20 to 30%, depending on the house, maybe 35% on a smaller off-strip property that has an outback, right? But the bigger places are giving you 25 to 30% of that. So if your average daily loss is $100, you're getting about $30 in comps. Okay, that's how this works. So you'll hear this called the theoretical, or the ADT. They're all the same thing, and that's how the calculation works. It's your bets times the house edge times the number of exposures times the number of hours that you're there, and that's basically it. The house gen would love to have 60 plus rolls an hour. That's why they're moving the dice most of the time. And I know that people don't want to hear what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. These houses that say no dice setting, and I've seen the signs, you've all seen the signs. It ain't because they're scared of you. It's not because they're scared of you setting the dice and being a great thrower. Okay, I guarantee you that. They want no dice setting because it takes too damn long. I put a video out. My first ever short video was 2 years ago. And I did, remember the 30-second challenge? It was how many times can you set the hard way set in 30 seconds? I think in the video, I got to like 10 or 11. I can do 15 now. I can do 15 hard way sets from a random pool of dice, a pile of dice in 30 seconds. If you're going to set the dice, set them fast or get to them quickly, because the reason for the stick person shoving you the dice and the reason for the no dice setting placards and the box getting on your shit about it is because they want more rolls per hour. They don't want to be at 45 rolls an hour. They want to be at 60 rolls an hour if they can do it. If you're playing by yourself, I know we all have a joint friend, JB, Myopia Movie, who plays a lot. He plays a little higher level than we do. And because of that, he's often at tables by himself. Right? He's often alone, or him and one person at a table. Guys who are dice setters that play in the mornings, they do their coffee run, it's only them playing alone. They're getting 60 to 100 rolls an hour. JB probably gets about 100 rolls an hour because he takes them and throws them like Jeremy does, right? It's like dice in, throw, dice in, throw. His bets are remember the Jayhawk Hammer? He plays his way. The dealers know his way of playing, and it's like a dance that they're doing, and he's just whipping dice out there. He's trying to get more rolls per hour because he knows how the math works, right? Like a blackjack player who's a card counter wants more hands per hour, same kind of thing. So luckily, not luckily, but you're lucky if you get 45 to 50, especially on a busy table with all the crazy bets. The ATS slows it way down, right? Why do you think the ATS moved from 175 to 1 to 150 to 1? There's reasons for that, right? One is licensing fees, right? They're paying a license fee to the one company, the bonus craps folks that pay 175 to 1. There's a license fee to pay them. So the casino's actually getting like the net effect of 150 to 1, but they're paying license fees. The bigger thing is that bet is so long. It takes so long to pay those bets out and manage that center box area. That carves away probably 5 to 10 rolls an hour, just farting around with those bets up there, right? By making the house edge worse on those bets, it pays for the time that they're not getting rolls in. That's a big part of these things, right? I mean, I think when you look at how casinos are making their money, how they're screwing you a little bit here and there, that's part of the reason for that. So yeah, no dice setting is because they want more rolls per hour. The higher house edge on the prop on those bonus bets is to compensate for less rolls an hour they're getting from the bet. And that's how it all ends up working out, okay? So we'll do a couple examples here. I got an app to show you that I think you're gonna like that has an outback. Yes, I could be like the Royale Casino or like some of the off-strip that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, that's a lower brand. Let's just call it that. All right, so that's how it's calculated. I'm gonna show you some examples of how that's calculated here in just a second. I actually have a gift for you all that I'll show you here in just a second. So I think that's the last thing. We will talk about this here now, I suppose, but when you know the comp system, once you understand how this works, I really want you to make it front and center but not let it run your life, if that makes sense, okay? A, know the calculation. I'm going to show it to you again here in a minute. Know your calculation. B, ask for your rating periodically. And again, the ratings are based on, I'll show you at the table here, how they rate you. And again, different from house to house. I will have that whole rating system. I'm going to have some folks on with us at Craps for the Cure to explain the rating system because it changes. No two places are different. Caesars is all the same, but Caesars and MGM do it differently, as does Boyd, as does Station, as does your local casino. So how they rate you is different everywhere you go. You got to ask for your rating. If you care about comps, you got to ask. When you're betting, what do you have me rated at right now? Which, not a bad time to ask that question when your bets are higher, okay? Your first bet matters because they're paying attention to you, right? You walk in, you drop your $1,000 and your card on the table. The suit takes your card, goes to the computer, types in your number, finds your name. What he sees when he types in your name is your previous play. Oh, I go to Harris in a month, right? For Craps for the Cure. They look me up. Oh, you haven't been here in 6 months. I haven't been there since DiceCon. Okay, well, when you were here at DiceCon, you bought in for $750 7 times. You played for an hour, and your average bet was $15 or whatever it was, right? That's what they expect from me. The guy comes back, flicks you your card. Good luck, John. Say, thanks, man. And he looks down at the table and sees what you got, right? Am I playing 96 across or 66 inside, or am I playing the horseman at that moment? At that moment when he walks up, what am I doing at the table, right? He goes, oh, it matches what I saw. He can go right to the computer and go $15 player or whatever he just puts it in there because that's what he saw. Your first bets matter. When you first walk up to the table and you're getting your card back and all that, they're looking right. Does what I see match what I just saw? Yeah, that's that's gonna be your out the gate rating. It's not bad if you're playing for comps to run your first bets a little higher. If you can do a regression strategy, do that out of the gate and get your 110 or your 154 inside or whatever you're going to do. Out there first. Let them see that when they're passing your card back. Oh, he's up this game a little bit, right? Maybe that changes your rating. Your last bets also matter, right? They know when you're coloring up. You're going to say something like, hey, last one right here, guys. I'm going to get out of here. And they can see you shuffling your chips. You're going to get everything. You're getting your color up ready to go in your rack. You can halfway rail dump, degen it on the last shooter, and get ready to color up here and let the box. Hey, how have you been rating me today, right? And as you're saying that, your last bets are out there, right? Those bets matter because you got his attention, right? At the very end of it, show your wins. I know that there's been talk about people stashing chips in their pocket or whatever else. Don't hide your chips. They know what you got. They know, trust me, they know what you have. If you bought in for $1,000 and you color up for $250, but you got 600 in your pocket, they know you're got 850, right? They don't care that you lost the 750. Like if you're buying for $1,000, color up 250, there's nowhere that it gets noted that you lost 750. They don't care how much you actually lost, right? Your actual rate of loss doesn't matter. It's the theoretical loss. It's based on the bets you've got, how much you're going to lose if you came every day. They don't care about today's bad session or today's great session. They're looking at, again, law of big numbers over time, how that works, okay? So show them your wins. It doesn't matter, right? Just get the nice, pretty purple chips if you can. Your buy-in doesn't matter either. You buy in for $1,000. Look at Charlie, Drunk Guy Explains. Buys in for $10,000, plays $10, 6 and 8, right? It doesn't matter. Your buy-in does not matter at all. Matter of fact, if you buy in for too big, I've heard, and you bet too small, that's a note. Like you're just trying to bump it up, whatever. Your odds don't count also on your come place or your come pass line, don't pass, don't come bets. The odds don't matter. They're invisible to the casino. So it's your flat bets that matter. And I think on the don't side, especially, there's more power in the flat bets than on the do side, on the pass line. But those bets matter. And if you do a parlay of your pass line wins, and you happen to be in a parlay when you say, how am I being rated? And they look down and they see $75 down there, right? There's your rating, right? It bumps it up at you. So there it is. Now the cruise ship, you're right, Jen. The cruise ships are different. And we're gonna talk to Brian about cruise ship play separately at the Craps, because you're right. Cruise ship comps work way different than regular comps. Cruise ships have a lot of good and a lot of bad going for them. There you go. Pass line players are not noobs. A lot of times they are, but a lot of guys get tired of throwing good money after bad on the box and have just resign themselves to playing the Molly. As you saw me play, the Molly works. It's not fun, but it works. That's, it's an okay way to play. Let's not bash the Molly players, right? Dr. S's out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, sure. Walk with your pockets full. It's okay if you're going to use your pockets as a way to stash money from yourself, which I think somebody said, right? You put the money in your pocket so you don't spend it. That's okay, right? That's, of course, that's a mental thing, right? But you're not going to get any extra comps for buying in big and coloring up low. They don't care about that. It's all about the theoretical. And again, to remind you, the theoretical calculation, right, is your average bet times the house edge times the number of rolls you're going to see an hour or number of results per hour times number of hours. That is how the ADT works, okay? And again, your comp is a part of that. It's a small piece of that. And by the way, I didn't mention your hosts at the casino or your private hosts like we are, we get a percentage of that as well. So when we're booking you into rooms or they're giving you a freebie, their commission is based on your play. So, hey, come stay with us here at Caesars and blah, 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 we're going to give you a free room, right? That's your host, your Caesars host saying that to you. Well, guess what? When you play and your ADT is $1,000, that guy's getting 25 or 30 bucks, whatever he's getting out of that, right? Whatever his commission on your thing is, he's getting a small percentage of that as well, right? That's their spiff for getting you the stuff. So you're getting it. The hosts get it. It's a small percentage of your ADT. So with all that said, let me show how it works. I'm going to share my screen and go here. Give me a second to pull this up for you. Let's see. We're going to go here. Blah, blah, blah. I got to find it. All right. Let's go. Oh, no. Hold on. Oh, my God. Hold on. I can't get my windows in the way here. Let's move that. Move this. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't grab the top of the window. So I'm going to show you two calculators that I've built. Okay, this one here is a spreadsheet that I made, and I got the numbers on the sheet from here, from the Wizard of Odds. Let's see, how do I get there? Let's copy that. Let's paste it up in here. Booyah. Oh, hold on. Why am I an idiot and I can't get the thing working? I should have had this window opened up earlier. Edge calcs. There we go. Okay, so the way that we're going to calculate this is here's every bet in craps. This is from the Wizard of Odds site. Every bet in craps, and he gives you right here a couple things. The house edge per bet made, so the house edge per bet, also the house edge per roll. So he's done the math for us to say what is your house edge per bet and your house edge per roll, which is a different thing, right? And when you're looking at the formula that we're going to use here, I'm going to use the house edge per roll for the bets that you placed times the number of rolls per hour times the number of hours you play. That is the metric used in the calculation. I got this. These numbers are from the Wizard of Odds. The way that you calculate these things out is a shit ton of calculus we're not going to get into, but I plugged them into here. Okay. So as an example, let's take my bets off. We're going to take, actually, let's take that away. I'm going to put one bet on the table. We're going to do a pass line bet for $100. We know that the house edge is 1.41%. So this will tell us that your expected loss for the $100 bet, all your bets combined, my expected loss is $1.41. Okay. My expected loss per roll on those bets is the same. So it's $1.41. 1.41% of my bet. That's $1.41. If we're seeing 50 rolls an hour, right, we're expected loss on that $100, $100 on every bet, 50 rolls over time is $70. My expected loss is $70 per hour. If I'm playing for 4 hours, my average daily theoretical loss is $282. That's what they expect from you. Okay. If you're a pass line player with $100 on the line and odds don't matter, your ADT is $282. That's the way this works. Okay. It's your expected loss per bet, right? Or per roll times the number of rolls you see per hour times your number of hours of play, $282. Your comp, if it's at 30%, would be $85. If it's at 25%, it's at $70. And you can know this going in, right? I'm going to give you a sheet like this where we'll calculate your bets. And it depends on how much you're playing, right? Obviously, if you're going to be a $10 pass line player, right? Or your $15 minimum pass line bet, right? Your ADT is $42 over 4 hours, right? $10. comps earned. That's about right. If you think about you're playing the pass line, you earn about $10 a day in comps, which is nothing, right? And again, it's how do they calculate your average bet? That the big thing here is how they calculate your total bet. So this spreadsheet gives me the bet amount that I'm going to make on a lay 4, the amount of edge I'm expected on a per bet basis, the amount of edge per roll, and you can put all your bets in here and fill the whole thing out and say, how does it work? Well, that's a pain in the ass. So what I did is I wrote an app last night. Literally last night, I was sitting here yesterday and I did this. So give me a second to pull up the thing. I'll put this up on CDTV here later on today. But if you go to the tools area where we have our roll tracker, our session logger, the 401g bank simulator, now I've got a comps calculator. Okay, and here it is. We're going to put in your bets. You're just going to choose the pass line for $100, and it will change for you. You can see $100, 50 an hour, 4 hours of play. Your expected loss per bet, $1.41. ADT is $2.82. Your comp value is about $70. This will do the math for you. Okay, I can add a bet. I'm going to do pass line and come, and I'm going to do a place 5 for 10. We're going to do a place 6 for 12. We're going to do a place 8. I'm sorry, I'm using my left hand to type here, so give me a break on the speed. 12, and we'll do a place 9. Come on, 4, 10. I may have this thing give some common bets, but there's your. Now you got 144 in action, right? Because you've added the inside numbers, right, to your pass line bet, right? So your total bets now is 144. They carry a different house edge. Your expected total loss for all the bets, 237, okay? That's your complete loss, but the per roll loss is 163 because, again, these are calculated with a different per roll value, right? Your comp value for that play for a 4-hour session, 50 is $81. Now, for me, when I come in and I do a don't pass here, let's actually do we'll do the like a don't pass with a little bit of 6, 7, 8. So $100 don't pass changes it a little bit. If I come in and play that for 1 hour, which I often do, right? Actually, my real level is probably this: $50 on the don't, 44 inside. My ADT is $45, right? You come in here, you play a hedging system, and same bets. So it's all about same bets, and here you are, right? I will absolutely do this, Jen, for roulette. This is only craps right now. I'll make a separate one for roulette. I wanted to get this done last night so we'd have this thing out here for us today. All right, so it's pretty cool. The spreadsheet's good. This is a little bit better, and I'm going to have in the bets thing here, it'll have roulette options as well, and we can do those. That way we can just do it. But anyway, today it's got the crap stuff, and it's all hard-coded for crap, so there it is. That is a cool little tool. I think it's going to be a thing helping you out. Is there a difference the higher you're rated, says Ian? Let me go back to the other screen here real quick. Let me turn this down. So I will, again, I'll deploy that today for us, and we'll have that later on. Ian has a good question. Is there a difference the higher you're rated? No. It's your ADT. It's all about your theoretical. It's 100% math driven. What kind of cards you have doesn't matter. The kind of cards you have matters for their willingness to give you comp. So they can take that into account for the amount. Like, in other words, if I'm a gold star or a gold member or a 7-star member, right? 7 stars will never pay for a room. They'll never pay for dinner. Like, that's built into their card, their point values. I'm not sure if they carry double, triple value, or if it's your baselined at you're always getting these things and then your play matters. But if you're a 7-star or a diamond or a platinum and you reduce your bets and you're playing $10 bets for an hour a day, your rating goes down, right? The points you've earned let you go from gold to silver to platinum status. That's because you're playing a lot. But the amount of points you earn, the speed at which you earn your points is based on your bet size. So if you're doing like I just did, $50 don't, 44 inside, you earn those points $10. $10 at a time you earn your points. It takes forever to get from gold to anywhere else because you're betting so low. If you're betting high or you're betting often, 8-hour sessions, you can build it up. It's all based on time and money. It's not based on your rating. Your rating or your status is based on the total points you've got, and your comps come out of the status points. There it is. Yeah, $2,500, $25 minimum bet for it's a grind, and you don't get a lot out of that. Okay, so be careful about this, right? And I put this up here before. Be careful about this. I want you to know how the comp system works, right? And understand that it works. The biggest question marks are going to be here, which is what your rating is, right? How does your rating work, right? Again, the first bet they see when they give you back your card, the last bet they see when they're coloring you up, those bets matter because it's in their mind, right? When you're coloring up, what did you have me rated at today? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I was averaging 110 inside all day long. My go-to is 110 inside. I was pressing up. That's the time to have those conversations, okay? Do not alter your play to earn comps. That's the last piece of advice. Do not alter your play to earn comps. Let me say it again. Do not alter your play to earn comps. Trying to do things out there to earn comps will cost you, okay? The way the comp system works, the more you bet, the higher your theoretical, the higher your comps. That is true. The more you bet, the higher your theoretical, the more your actual losses will be. Trust me on this. When you raise your ADT up, right, your average daily theo goes higher because your bets are higher. You increase the volatility to your rack, and it will cost you money in the end. Do not chase the comps. I was so against comps for the longest time, and for two reasons I was against comps. One is I didn't want to mentally change the way that I played, and you can't help it sometimes. What am I getting right? It's on your mind, right? Don't change shit to get a better rating, right? That was a mental block for me, okay? The other thing is this in red here, right? You are sharing your personal information. Remember, to get comps, you have to have a card. To have a card, you have to have given them your driver's license, okay? MGM got hacked last month, and I remember having this argument with PJ one time, PJ Strong, about my wish not to have a player's card. I didn't have a player's card for the longest time. One, not because I was a great player. I don't care if they're not. I'm never going to get kicked out of a casino. I don't like sharing my information if I don't have to. I don't want to give my driver's license to somebody who I don't know. And I'm not, like, again, the old days, there was no computers behind this. You would hand your license to the guy, and he would write the number down on a piece of paper, right? It got transferred to a computer at some point, but that to me was always like a little sketch, right? If you are a card counter, which a lot of you are, I know, right? And you go to the casinos, you don't want to give your ID away. I get it, right? So remember, if you're going to play and earn comps, you've got to give up your PII. You got to give them your stuff. You got to let them know who you are, where you live, and all of that. That's all a part of the game, right? So if you're concerned about personal security, remember that if you're going to play in that world, you've got to give it up. You got to give it up, and you might be a victim of something like that happened at MGM last month. Okay, that's my two pieces of advice. Know that you're giving up your information. Don't change play to earn comps, but if you're going to play with your card and try and earn comps, make sure you're checking your ratings. All right, let's end it there and go to the table. I'm going to go to the table, and I want to play a little bit with you here. Give me a second to turn some lights on. Well, that's a little bit blurry, isn't it? Why is it so blurry? Maybe that'll come back. Oh, it's not terrible. It is terrible. Why is it so freaking blurry? Hold on a second. I'm gonna try and dial that in a little bit. I'm not sure why why does it look so bad? Let's go here. It looks like it's okay. 4K2. Hold on one second. Console, the table, the image. Sometimes I have to do this weird, like flick it on, flick it off kind of a thing to make it. There it goes. I don't know if that helped or not. Sorry. Anyway, I want to go here and just roll some dice. We got about 15 minutes here. And we're going to push out, I think today, because we're not going to do the mind anymore. I'm going to push out, let's see. Let's see what the red cross looks like. All right. And while we're doing it, we'll talk about the comp system. Okay. So I'm going to turn my puck off. I'm going to do it this way. We're going to go with 50 bucks, actually 40 bucks on the don't. Okay. And again, I can make it 50 if I want, but 40 is going to be fine for now. 40 on the don't. We'll start there. I'm going to do the red cross at about 50% level. All right. So we're going to have, look at our bet sizing here. Okay. 50, 100, 150, 160, 170, say 175, 210 total action, plus eventually my field at 30 bucks will be 240 in action, okay? So 240 total action, 150, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 50 is 240 total action. So how does that look to the boss, okay? If the boss is paying attention to this bet, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this today, right? We're gonna have a bankroll of 2,500 bucks out in the garage. I'm gonna up the stakes a little bit to make this happen 10 times. How does the boss look at this? Well, the first thing they look at is this bet right here is a 4-unit bet, right? It's a $40 bet down here because these are off, right? You didn't put this out there yet. So that's your first rating. When you first come out to the table, you can, and I do this a lot. You'll hear me at the table. Oftentimes, you'll hear me make this one change to my life. I'll go, what is this, 160 inside or 170? 170 inside, up and off. And I'll do that for the come out. And what they'll do is they'll put me up, right? The off lammer is assumed with the puck, but the bets are sitting there. The field bet's not there, but those are up and off, okay? And I have my bet. If the guy looks down right now, what does he see? He sees 2-unit bets out there, right? He sees 1, 2, 3 of them, okay? Some houses will rate you as a $50 player. Now hear me. Some houses will rate you as a $50 average bet player just because of the one bet that you have. They'll look at this one and that one. Effectively speaking, by the way, those bets cancel. You're a 0 player to some houses' eyes, but your average bet size is 50 bucks. That might be your rating, 50 bucks. Some houses will rate you on the amount you have at play, exposed, 50, 100, 150, 160, 170. Some houses will rate you as a 170 player. You got to know how they rate you, right? You're going to ask that question at some point during your session or at the end of your session. How was I rated today? 50 bucks. 50 bucks, I had 170 out there. And he'll say, yes, but every one of your bets was 2 units. That's how we rate here, okay? Now, if they're giving you a 2-unit rating, your ADT will not be based on the bets per roll. It'll be based on the bets resolved. There's a different calculation for how they calculate ADT when it's a single unit bet versus when it's the entire spread. Know that going in, okay? Another little comp thing. Might be one bet, it might be your entire spread. But here, when we have a point, let's get a point established. We got a 10. When the point's established right here, now it's your total spread, right? Now we go 170, 240 bucks is what's out there. That's my total spread, 240, although the don't pass and the field effectively are cancellation bets, or the don't pass in one of these is effectively a cancel bet. When you look at any kind of a hedgy system like this one here kind of goes away. All right, so here's the red cross, and how the red cross works is this. It's 5 units here, it's 3 units here, and it's 4 units here on the don't pass. The real red cross, the way that we wrote this, Waylon and I, at the big boy level was this. It's 150 on the 6 and 8, 125 on the 5. That's 5 $25 units. It's $370 or 3 units in the field, and it was 4 units or 100 bucks on the don't. So it's 5 units, 3 units, 4 units. These all pay 175 minus 175 or $100 net. This pays $75 net. The don't pass is purposefully lower than everything else because it's going to progress when we go. I halved everything. You can't get half of 150 on the 6 and 8. So I made a concession here. Instead of going to 72, which is closer to half, I'm making the bets a more normal size so it's easy. So these will all pay 70. Okay, this will lose 30, but when you win 70, your net is 40 bucks on these bets here. You'll win a $40 net on the box numbers, $30 net on the field. Okay, in the end, we're going to baccarat the line. So here we are, point of 10. Let's see if we can avoid big nasty here for a minute. We got a hard 10. So what happens is this. This is actually kind of an interesting thing. You're going to lose 40 on the line. You're going to win 30 in the field. Okay. When I play the red cross, what I typically do is take my field wins and I grab box numbers with them. Okay. I'll take this 30 bucks, make it look like red chips we're going to go 15 to the 9 and 15 to the 4. Field bet will come down for a minute, and now we make our decision on the line. So the line, we baccarat the line. So when we lose a don't, we go to the other side, and I double the bet. We're going to ladder up to $80 on the pass line. So that you baccarat your line. The reason why this starts out lower than everything else is because we know we're going to do this piece here. We're going to baccarat, we're going to parlay the wins. Here we go. Coming out. Another 10. Boy, oh boy, how about that 10? That's perfect. The field goes back in. Okay, now remember, I'm right now I'm down. I'm going to put the money that I'm down next to Chiro's chip. I'm down $40, as we know. Let's see if we can get some other stuff to happen. I got the whole box covered, again, from the field. The way Red Cross plays is, again, from the field, we feed the box. From the box, we feed the rack. And that's how this works, right? It's just going to be a cycle like that until we 7 out or if something else happens. Again, my ADT right now, right? We're at 170. Now we're potentially $200 up here in total bets. If they're doing it on a per bet basis, you better not have them looking at that bet. They should be looking at this bet, right? Make sure they're seeing your 2-unit bets as it goes in, okay? There's a 5, a 4-1-5. So on the 5, you lose your field, but you win $70. There's 70. You put your $30 back, $40 back to the rack, and we're even. We're not down anymore. That covers our initial DP loss. So effectively, we are even from the first disaster. Now we're playing again. Start over. There's the 8. What do we know? It pays $40. 8 pays $40. That's our first hit towards our profit. There's another 8, 4, 4, the square pair. Another $40. We'll do 50 for 10. And again, we're marching towards $200 in wins. There's 80 of it right there. And again, I'm not taking the field. I'm just doing that net payment. Here's aces. Aces pays on my table 2 to 1. So $60 on that $30 bet. That's fantastic. $60 on the $30 bet. What am I going to do with that? I'm going to pocket 30 of it. I'm going to take the other 50, the other 30, and feed the box. Remember we said that these bets feed the box. 9 and 4 are both looking like $30 now. So I've got them both up to a good paying level from those field wins. I got $100 in the rack. I'm not out of this hand yet, right? Iron Cross is a grind. You're not out of the hand for a little while. But once we're out of the hand, you'll see we'll stop playing here. If I can beat the number, we're gonna be fine. Now here, look at this great chance right here. This 6, 4, 10. That pays $80 down there. $80. It pays $30 in here on the field. Where are we? There's $220 in profit, and we're done for the day. Everything comes down. Here's our. And matter of fact, yeah, that's it. There's all of our money back, and actually, if you take a look at this, the $30 and the 4 and 10 were also profit because those were placed there by the win. There's our initial spread. I'll take $50 out of here. We'll put that to the don't. It's not quite right. There's our initial bets. There's our profit. Okay, just a few rolls. Managing your money well, out of the hand with 100, 275, about $300 in profit. Okay, that's the Red Cross. All that time, right? We never increased our bets. Our average bet here was still the 170. We got to another $50. We were out here at 225 at one point. 255 with that right there at one point. If you're catching the attention, that's getting noticed. More importantly, this is what's being noticed. If you do this, by the way, let me show you something else real quick. And again, I'm going to probably switch over to this play today. We'll do a quick play test out there in the garage, but there's your first paycheck in like 3 seconds, right? If you're this guy, let's say that your name is Ryan from Mark the Point. Oh, there's a 7. Hold on. Let's get a new point, and I'll start over again here. Another 7. Boy, the 7s just decide like, screw you, John. You took our money. Now here we come. Points 10 again. Okay, here we go. Ryan from Mark the Point. 220 inside, and he gets an 8. He gets an 8 for $70. right? Maybe does this. Again, you may be doing this. You may take one more hit. I'm not sure if you're doing 2 or 1. But if you take a second hit, there's a 9. Check it out, right? Also pay $70. And you take your bets down. And you go to this. 110 inside. Maybe you're ballsy and take the 4 and 10, okay? For that. What is your, and they look down now. What is your bet? Your average bet is a quarter. Your average exposure is 130, okay? You went from 220 to 130 in a great move. That's a good move, right? That's a good 2 hits and down to something manageable. Lock it up and play hard. That's great. But your ADT dropped in those two moves to a 1 unit bet, a little bit inside. Now, remember what I said, do not change the way you play because that happened. But I can tell you and guarantee you, this is where you're going to be almost all the time. You're going to be out there with the big money for a roll or two, and you're going to regress back down. Trust me when I say this, they know the strategies. They will see, the dealers will tell the box, when the box rolls up, what's going on here, and they point to who's doing what. This guy's a regression player. He's coming out quick, but he's going down, and this is where you're living all day long at this level. That's your rating, not your 220. You're rated here. And if you go to 96 across, like you may do, you're getting rated at $15 a bet, not getting rated at your initial spread. Your initial spread is only exposed for a couple of rolls, right? So 2 rolls of exposure per shooter is all you're being exposed for. That 2 rolls ADT is a 7-hour calculation because you're only exposed for 2 rolls per session, what they call a session. So there it is. Does that make sense? I hope so. And that's the best way that I can explain that to you. So I wanted to give you a lens on, oh, the lights again. A lens on sort of the way that works. And again, you can be sucked into, I'm putting 220 out there, but you're not, right? Effectively, you're putting 0 out there. And don't think that doesn't come into their calculations as well. When you go from 220 for 2 rolls, right? 2 rolls per shooter. Let's say you get 5 shooters per hour. Your 220 is exposed for 15 minutes at most, right? So 220, your negative EV on the 220 is going to be whatever it is, $1.85 or something like that. That's only active and viable for 2 rolls per shooter, 10 rolls per hour. It takes 10 hours to make that ADT worth anything, okay? When you regress down to your base 110 inside, or your 96 across from that bet, how much money do you have at risk? What level of player are you? The answer to that question is 0. You have none of your money is exposed. And don't think for a minute that's not calculated in there as well. When you regress and you have nothing at risk, you have nothing at risk. When you do the 6, 7, 8, the amount of coverage that the don't pass gives you takes away from your ADT as well, because your bets are opposed. When your bets are opposed, you're getting nada for comps, okay? We will talk to somebody who's in the business to give us more information about how that actually works. This is just what I have been told from asking people, but I want to get somebody who actually works in the field today to help shed some light. Does that make sense? So with that said, I'm going to go switch to the questions and answer screen here and see if I can address anything we see in chat, and then we'll move on and go out there and play that thing for real. So JR says, whoa, rare systemic disease affecting your lung. Oh my God, I didn't know this. Wow, I had no idea. Well, shit. Prayers for you, man. I didn't even know. I know you live there though, so if you can make it out, I would love to see you and pray with you in person. That'd be actually pretty cool. Wow. What else is being said? That kind of shook me a little bit. PC, I get the impression they prefer pass line and prop bets over the box and the dark side. Dark side's fine. The reason why you get that impression is because the pass line and come bets are contract bets. And I want you to hear that. For the player, for us, they're low house edge bets. The odds are invisible to you. To the casino, those bets can't be removed. So once you put a pass line bet out there and it travels, it cannot be taken down. They love that. Those bets are gold to them. That's an easy rating system. The don't pass bets can be taken down. So they don't get rated quite as high as the pass line bets because they aren't contract bets. But the pass lines and comes are great bets for them for sure. Do they care if I? Yes, they do. Actually, they don't like me at all. I got yelled at. It's funny when I took the job as a host, I was talking to Michael Feldman about it, and I'm like, hey, you know, let's get me some rooms here for the Craps for the Cure, and I didn't even get free rooms. Why? Because when I went out there for DiceCon, I played at Harris 3 times a day. Okay, and I lost the first. Remember, I told you, I lost the first couple sessions, which wasn't great. I won every session after that. I didn't win a lot. Buying for 750, win 100. Buy 750, win 225. Buy 750, win 75. I won every session, but I was there for 20 minutes. Buy in. How y'all doing? Get my coffee going. Put the bets out there. If I caught a roll right off the scrape, buy. Color me up, and I'm out of here. So my ratings were zeros. My ratings were nothing because my ADT, my average play was 45 minutes to an hour. So even if my bets were high, which they weren't, but if I was doing 96 across, about that average, all right, 96 across, what does that earn you in comps? $1 per hour, maybe. I was there for 45 minutes. So my ratings are shit because that's how I play. You do not get good for that. Now, if you go every day, 5 days a week, twice a day, you can build up hours over many sessions, but not the way I play. They don't like me very much. I can tell you that. And Michael says, you got to change how you play. I'm like, I'm not changing how I freaking play. That's the way I do it. You know, I'm not going to play for comps. I'm going to play, and I'm playing for money. If I get comps, to me, it's a bonus. I'm not playing for it. Don't let it change the way you play. Please, God, do not let the comp system change the way you play. Do what you're going to do and get out of there, and don't be ashamed of it. It's totally okay. What was it about the mind that made me choose it for the other page? Rich, here's the problem with the mind. I chose it, man. I chose it because in the first series that we ran, I ran every strategy for a week. You remember way back, I ran it for a week. The mind was one of the ones that was undefeated. Matter of fact, the mind was like 9-0. I did 2 sessions a day, and it was 9-0, undefeated. I'm like, this is great. But in that week when I ran it at a $5,000 bankroll with 25-hour bets. I never got into a problem. We had great rolls, but I had massive bankroll behind it. I thought, oh, that's great. We'll do that one this time. Bring it back down. And I went, wait a minute, $2,000 is not enough for 25-hour bets. Okay, let's bring it down to $10 bets. It still isn't enough. We ran it the first time with a huge bankroll, smaller bets, and I had a great run. So that was why I chose it. I chose it because it was undefeated, but it's 0-3 this week in the trial runs, and I don't see a way forward for it just because my bankroll is too small. So, so that's it. What else is being said here? Marketing departments. I don't know the answer to this one, Chris. The marketing department offers are different from casino comps. Yes, they're informed by it as far as I know. Now, again, every casino works differently. My local casinos, their marketing departments will give you, the frying pans and free bowling nights and all this other craziness. The things you get in the mail, come out for a free rib dinner. That's marketing stuff, and it's based on your play. It is based on your points, but you're not going to lose points by doing that. They're just saying, oh, this guy, every time he comes in, he bets whatever. Let's give him a ribeye or whatever, ribs or bowling or something like that, or the free pots and pans giveaway. That's marketing stuff. If you're a player that's there consistently, you'll get that stuff, but don't factor that in. That's not anything to do with how the pit does it. All right. LifeLock owned by the same credit bureaus that get hacked all the time. Yeah, I hear you there. It's now owned by Norton. Norton bought it last year, I think. So it's under a different control system. I don't know, man. All this credit stuff, all your PII stuff, it's dangerous. Everybody's got your money, your information everywhere. It's being bought and sold. Like I said, you are a product everywhere you walk now. It is what it is. Don't give it up willingly, is what I'm saying. Don't give it to people who don't need it on purpose. That's my final thought. Don't give your PII away on purpose. Don't play for comps. Play and get comps. Don't play for comps. If you care about it, be aware. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. That's host to player. Ask the questions. How am I being rated? Make sure your first bet is one of your best bets. Your last bet's one of your best bets. And question all the time, how are they seeing you? And if it's not to your liking, ask them why. Go back and ask why. How did you see it? Why did I get rated 50 instead of 220? You go, oh, our house does it with, you got to know that. Know that going in. So there it is, folks. It is 9:05. I got to go and refresh the coffee and go play some Red Cross in the garage. So I'll see you up there in about 5 or 6 minutes. In the meantime, God bless every one of you. Thanks all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.